Hooked on Needles Craftcast. My name is Marisela, or Mari if you prefer. Today is February 12th, 2021. This is episode 49, and I am coming to you from the city of Dallas in the west part of Georgia. I don't think I've ever said that, but that is where I live. This is Rogue on the couch. She will be my co-host for as long as she stays on the couch and not misbehaving. Kobe is down here. I don't know if you can see my arm moving, but that's me giving him some rubs. And hopefully they will not be fighting during this episode. So I hope you are all doing well and are staying as safe as you can. We have been continuing with our usual. We don't really go out much except to get groceries, and we do take the puppies out for walks, but there's hardly ever anyone out there. So yeah, let's begin. I would like to start with finished objects, which I am actually wearing one of my objects, but it's kind of finished and it's not. So this is the Pavement by Vera Valimaki. I love this pattern. I think it's wonderful. It is a very easy knit. It is a paid for pattern. And I don't know what to tell you besides I love it. But the reason why it's not finished is because I messed up on the arms. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but I did my decreases on the top part. So I don't know what happened when I was doing this, because it happened on both sleeves, that the my markers got all out of whack. I don't know what happened, but both of my increases are on the, or decreases are on the top part, which they should be on the bottom part. And so I need to redo that, but I have finished it. I believe I told you previously that I was going to try to go for 3/4 length sleeves, but then I changed my mind because I don't really want it to rub on the inside of my elbow. So I went with a little bit shorter, but I'm very happy with it. I love the way that it fits. It has some short rows in the back, on the top and on the bottom, so it's a little bit longer on the back side, which I really like and appreciate. And then yeah, so I totally love this pattern. I would like to make it again, actually. And I like that it uses fingering weight yarn, and so therefore it ends up a very light sweater, yet very warm. So I do appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I am so happy with it. I don't know if I'll put some pictures or videos of, so you can see all of it, but it is done. Like I said, I will just have to redo the sleeves. But I love it. And then I had mentioned in the episode before that my goal for this year is to make at least 52 new amigurumi patterns. I will not design them, I will just be making them. But anyways, so I made 3, I believe, for this episode. I made one of them 4 times because I just fell in love with it. So let me get some of my Kobe hair off of me. I made these cute little penguins because one of my sister's friend requested these little penguins. I believe she wants them for one of her nieces or nephews, and she just asked if I could make them, and I said yeah, of course. So I made these. I followed 2 different tutorials on YouTube. One of them is in Portuguese and the other one is in Spanish. I will put the links down below and I will tell you why I used two of them. So the Portuguese video shows you how to make the body and the head and everything, but his video, he has you do a color change for the head and then you do a color change for the crown of the head. But I didn't like all of the white around it. So I looked at a different video, and in that video, the woman that made it, she gave them little caps. And so this is what you end up with. And I like that better because then you don't have all of the white in the back. So I liked the way that it looked also because with the other video, I feel like the way that you put this middle part here, I feel like it just didn't really go with it much. So I decided to kind of take a little bit of both patterns and so I just basically made the top part of it different. And so in the video where she makes the cap, she stops one row short of your final increase round. So let's say you need 36 stitches for the round at the end, you would stop at 30. So you would stop increasing once you got to 30. And the reason for that is that you want it to fit nice and snug on the head, and it's much easier to do that than to have a loose one and then it kind of like wobble all around, because sometimes this will like pull off or pull apart from the head because it is just a cap. So I did that. And for the little bow, I just did four chains. Everything was worked into a magic ring. I did 4 chains and then I did 3 triple crochets. And then I did a chain 4 and then did it again on the other side, pulled it tight and rolled it up. And then for the hat, I just did some double crochets, knitting through the back loop. I believe I made a chain of like 20 to 22, somewhere around there, because I did want to be able to fold it up and stuff. I put a pom-pom on her hat. I did not put a pom-pom on his, but yeah. I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby for all of it, and I do love that yarn. It's really nice. I've really enjoyed working with it lately, and so that's what I've been making most of my amigurumis with. And yeah, so for this one I used a 3.5 millimeter hook with that yarn that I believe is a worsted or size 4 yarn. And so those are for my sister's friend, and I couldn't not make one for us. So this is Fabiola, our girl, and this is Fermin, our boy. And I gave them different eyes because I want them to smooch. Since it is Valentine's Day this month, I thought I would make it cutesy and they would be like smooching. So I loved it. As you can see, their eyes are slightly different than the other penguins, but I love them. For the scarf, I just did, I think like 50 to 60 double crochets, a double crochet thing. And so, yeah, but I love them. So these are going to stay with us, and the other 2 will be going to my sister's friend. So that was one of the patterns made 4 times. I did end up making a little chart for myself. So I have the pattern, the designer, and then how many times I've made it. And so far, I believe I made 10 this year, and I'm trying to get to 52. So, and then I want to show you these 2 little cows. They are both cows, but as you can see, they are designed very differently. And I wanted to show you these because my sister had asked why they look so different, even though they're both cows. And that has to do with the designer. So each designer can give their own little spin to their design. And so as you can see, this one, she's got more of a rectangular face or head, and this one does not. This one also has a color change for the face, and I love them both. I thought they were both very, very good patterns. This one, as you can see, she has you use them. Well, she uses a marker. I used some pastel colors to give the little spots to the cow, and she has you actually crochet them and then sew them on. It asks for 3 patches, but I only did 2 because the other one in the picture is on one of the eyes, and I had already put the eye on there, so I was like, oh, can't do that. So that's why my little cow only has 2 little spots. But yeah, so 2 very different designs for the same pattern. I think they're both really, really cute. For this one, I used Baby's Delight yarn from Hobby Lobby. It is a size, I think it's DK or a light DK, and or a number 3 yarn. I used a 2mm crochet hook, and I believe I used 6mm safety eyes. And yeah, I mean, I love it. I think it's a really, really adorable cow. But I did want to make both of them so you guys could see the difference. And this one is a pattern. Oh, I'm sorry. This pattern is from Little Toys World on Etsy. It is a pay-for pattern. So if you like this one, you can go and check it out. I will put links in the description box below. And then this one is from Vivid Vintage. It is also a paid-for pattern. I will also put the link down below, but for her, I used a 3.5mm hook, and I used I Love This yarn, which is a worsted or number 4 thick yarn. And like I said, I think they are both really, really cute. I love them both. But I did want to show you guys the difference in the way that a cow can come. So yeah, I mean, I think they're both great designs. They're very cute. This one did take a little more time because it was thinner yarn, but they're pretty much the same size. So that is something that you might want to take into account, is that sometimes, more stitches and smaller yarn can give you the same size as a thicker yarn with less stitches. So there we go. And so those are the 2 little cows. So that's 2 more patterns. And then lastly, in crochet, I made this little mandala because I did not want to knit. I was going through something and I decided I didn't want to knit for a little bit, but I also didn't want to start a new amigurumi, but I wanted to crochet. So I went to my trusty Mandalas to Crochet book, and I picked out a pattern. My daughter actually chose the colors. So this is the pattern that I used. It is on page 88 of the book. It is called Layers and Loops. And so this is the pattern, but this is the one that I made. So quite different, but I think equally as lovely. And I have not like steamed it or anything, so it's just all wonky still. But I love it. I think the color choices were really, really nice. And I used cotton and a 3.5 millimeter hook. I used sugar and cream cotton because I have a lot of that, because I would go crazy and buy a whole bunch of them when they were on sale a while ago, but I haven't bought any since. So yeah, still trying to use up the stash. And so yeah, and lastly, I have some sewing to show you, but I didn't do it. I helped, but it wasn't my sewing skills that did this. So little story to go with them. Before Christmas, I had gone shopping for groceries, and there were two ladies that were selling their sewn items in that shopping center. And I went up to them and saw that they had a lot of things. They had quilts, they had bags, they had napkins, they had masks, they had all sorts of things. But one of the items that they had were these like hand towels. And I wanted to support these ladies, so I bought some, and I also bought a bag. But because they were, you know, like 2 for $5 or 2 for $10 or something, I bought 2 of these hand towel things, and I gave one to each one of my sisters. But one of my sisters just completely fell head over heels for these little towels, and she was like, oh my gosh, I love them, where did you get them? And I told her in a shopping center where these ladies were just there. I have gone back to the shopping center and I have not seen those ladies anymore. So I told her that, and so she was a little let down, but at the same time she's like, do you think we could do it ourselves? And I was like, maybe. We can give it a try. And so she just wanted to take stuff into her own hands. So she went to the store, bought some towels she liked, and then bought some fabric. So she came over because also her sewing machine is having some issues. I don't know what, but she came over and we made these little hand towel things. And I have to say they are quite adorable. We kind of just made up the pattern. I kind of saw what the ladies had done. I didn't do everything exactly. The ones that I had gifted them, the clip was in the front, and so the ones that we made, I did so that they clip in the back, and that's just because I think it looks nicer to see the full front side without any interruption, really. And so yeah, so what we did was we cut each towel in half and then stuffed it into this like wonky envelope thing. And she did some top stitching on it, and my sister's the one that actually sewed everything. I just kind of helped her make the pattern and cut stuff, but she did most of it. And that day was such a lovely day because she is my oldest sister. I have 2 sisters and a brother, but I am the youngest of 4. And with her, she's the oldest, and she's 11 years older than me, so we don't have too much in common. And so that day I really enjoyed and appreciated because she came over. She was a little like, oh, I'm so sorry to ask this of you, but do you think we could do this? She had all her stuff with her. I was like, of course we can. And so, you know, we got to work. We did the little towels and stuff. And afterwards I was like, well, do you want some lunch? I had made some Korean stew the day before, and I was like, it'll be really good today, like, anyways, just give it a try. And she's like, sure. So we had that, and then I had made some hibiscus tea, but we drink it cold and more like a cold tea, I guess. But it's really delicious. So we had some of that as well, and it was just so good. And we just kind of chatted and had a lovely visit, which it's kind of like, not that we don't get along or anything, but it was just really nice because it's not very common that she will come to me, or that she's so willing to just like hang out, because she feels like hanging out is kind of a waste of time sometimes. Which I think it's kind of funny because I see hanging out as like quality time. And so I really appreciated that we had that lovely day. And I'm sure she was happy because she got to go home with some of these. She left these so I could show you guys, because I asked her if I could, show some of her handiwork on the podcast. And she said sure, but these are not staying here. These are hers. She just wanted to have one for like every season. And yeah, we did cut some more of the towels and stuff. So what is pretty cool about this is that you can get 2 towels out of the one that you buy, because you cut them in half. So we did that, but she wanted to also have a little more variation in the colors, so she kept those so that she can find some other fabrics to go along with them and combine them differently. So she was just really, really excited. I was laughing a little bit because I told my other sister, I was like, oh, I had such a lovely day with our sister. She came over, we made these things, and then she's like, oh my gosh, she loves those. She came over to my house. She saw the one that you gave me and was hanging, by my sink or whatever. And she just started raving about how much she loves them. So I'm really glad that you guys got to make them. And I was like, I know, me too. So it really made me feel good because I gave her something that she liked, and she liked it enough that she was like, I need more. So we did that. And yeah, so that's the last of the finished items. Works in progress, I really only have 2. Although I will be showing you 3 things. So these are my Humbug socks by Ambrose Smith. This is a paid for pattern. And I was trying something new with these. So I was trying to reinforce the entire heel and then some. So I did do my slip stitches further up, because that's the area where I have trouble with my socks, where that's where they seem to wear the most. So I'm trying that. And then something that I hadn't really thought about before was that takes up more yarn, and I can usually get a pair of socks out of 150-gram skein, but because I did the reinforcement, it took more yarn, so I don't think I'm going to have enough for both of the socks, and this is the only skein I have. So I will have to go and buy another one of these, which I know is not going to be the same dye lot or anything like that, but I don't think it's going to bother me too much because they're, like the colors aren't super clean cut or anything like that. So I'm not going to be bothered by it, but yeah, so I did do that, and I did want to stop because I want to go and get the other skein before I continue, so that I can make sure that I'm not like miscounting where I stopped my the reinforcements. So I want to wait for that so I can kind of like do them at the same time almost. And yep, so I did those. And then I am also, I told you guys I was like going crazy with the sweater, like I wanted more than one this year. So I cast on the Arboreal by Jennifer Steingass. And this, I believe I had shown you before, like last year in an episode. But I did not like the colors that I chose. I felt like the lighter of the colors, the contrast, was way too depressing on me. Like, I believe I'm not very dark to begin with, but that one just made me look way paler than I am. So I was not okay with that color. So I'm trying a different contrasting color, and hopefully this one will go better with my skin tone. To be honest, I have never really like focused too much on the colors that I wear. So that's something new that I'm also trying to like be aware of. And mostly just because like it's gonna come as a shock, but I'm not much into like fashion or looking cutesy or whatever. So I don't pay attention to that stuff. And yeah, so like I said, I'm trying to kind of be a little more aware of the colors that look more fitting on my skin tone, which I also kind of feel so silly that I don't think about it, because it seems to be like something that other people think about, and so then it just makes me feel weird, like why don't I think about that? But then again, you know, I am weird, so it's okay that I don't think about it. But anyways, so I'm hoping that this will work better. Um, because that one, I think that that was like the reason that I noticed is because I did feel like it really washed me out, and it just did not look nice, I would say. So the fact that like it made me realize that it was not looking so great, I was like, whoa, why is that happening? So that was something kind of weird and odd, but there we are. So anyways, this is a paid for pattern. I don't know if I said that, but it is a paid for pattern. I am trying to work through my patterns that I already have. I'm trying not to buy anymore, at least for this year and maybe the next 2 years. I don't know. But definitely 2021, I'm going to do my very best not to buy any patterns. I really want to work through the ones I have. So I had that one. I had started it before. It wasn't working. Redoing it. It calls for DK yarn, which is the brown that I have. And the brown is a Cloudborn yarn. And I don't know if they're discontinuing this brand because the company switched owners. So I don't know if that's something that they're going to continue doing or not, like dyeing yarn or selling yarn. But anyway, so I had, I think, I don't remember if it was 10 or 12 hanks of the brown. It is a DK weight. And I am using a contrast, but I didn't have DK, so I'm holding a fingering weight double. And hopefully I will have enough to finish off the sweater. I'm hoping that it works for me, but if I put it on and I realize that maybe this, I don't know if brown is not being the color for me, because I actually don't wear brown very often, if like ever. I don't think I own anything brown. So I don't know. I think it looks better than the last thing I tried. So hopefully it'll work out. But if it doesn't, I have come to terms with it, and I will be gifting it to someone. I am just not gonna say who because I don't want them to get excited, because if it does work out, I'm keeping this puppy, you know? So yeah, that is that. And then lastly, I have some mittens to show you, because I started these for my son. But I thought I had grabbed the 2mm needles when I switched needles, and I grabbed the 2.75mm needles, which gives you a thicker stitch and a looser stitch. So these don't fit him because they're kind of big on me and his hand is smaller. So this is the reason why I didn't want to knit, and I made that doily or mandala thing, because I was just feeling down, like I'm such a dummy. Why did I grab the wrong needles? So anyways, I did think about leaving them and continuing and just making them for my husband, but my husband tends to run warm, so he wouldn't even use them if I finished them for him, and I don't want to waste the yarn, so I will be restarting. But I'm feeling discouraged because winter's almost over here, and it kind of doesn't make sense for me to like finish them quick and him use them for a little bit and then they possibly not fit him next winter. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe I will put them aside, like I will unravel them or whatever, and then put the yarn aside and restart them maybe in the fall, so that I, you know, with him, because he's growing, and so I do want him to at least use them for a good winter. So yeah, I'm thinking that maybe that's something I'll do, but we'll see. I mean, I'm thinking about it, so I'm not sure. So just make sure you are grabbing the right size needles whenever you're switching needle sizes. Okay, and I believe that is all that I have to share with you this episode. I am still knitting on my niece's leg warmers, which I did not bring because I haven't really done much on them. And yeah, so I hope you are all staying safe and doing well. I hope that you guys will have a good, hopefully 2 to 3 weeks until next episode. Thank you very much for your support, for those of you who come back. If you do like the video, please do like and subscribe and share if you haven't. I know that there's a lot of podcasts out there, so I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to share a little bit of your time with me, because I'm just glad that I'm able to keep you company if you need it. And I know that I can be really ranty, so I do apologize for that, but also that's who I am. So sorry, not sorry. And yeah, so take care. Hasta la próxima. Hi, I completely forgot to talk to you about another pattern that I had finished this past, from, you know, last podcast to this one, which is the Bernie Sanders pattern by Toby Time Crochet. Here he is. He is so adorable. I love it. It was quite an intensive pattern because she does a great job of doing all the detail work. It is a paid for pattern. Totally worth it. The pattern calls for you to fill in with some stuffing, the arms, but I chose not to do that just because I felt like they were already like bulky enough with the sweater and stuff, so I didn't add that. And he is meant to sit, so I do have a little bench here for him. I completely adore this pattern. It was going crazy all over Instagram. But yeah, I do recommend it highly. So if you want to have your own Bernie, please do go and check that out. Now, this is not political. I just really wanted to make it. It has nothing to do with my views, but I think both sides of, or anybody really, can just appreciate that there's a Bernie doll. So yeah, I recommend it. Go check out Toby Time Crochet. And sorry I forgot to put this in the podcast. Bye.